I didn't realize how much relationships can impact your heart and your life. So I'm performing really well. I've been calling it like front stage, backstage lately. Like my front stage looked really good.
Yeah.
I'm climbing. I'm the best in the country, like one of the top three. I got to go to world championships at age 16, placed fourth in the world with an Olympic gold medalist, Laura Wilkinson. I was climbing all the right steps to reach my Olympic dream. And simultaneously backstage, there was a lot of turmoil, instability, fear, insecurities that were going on that I didn't know how to process, what to do with it. So I started developing what I later learned was an eating disorder. I went inpatient when I was 18 years old, had to say no to going to all of the world events to take care of myself. And Todd, when you talk about I'm going in, like,
For 17 years, I hid my disability. My entire life, I felt broken. I felt like a monster. You know, when you look at synonyms for disability, like weak or broken or useless or helpless, and it's like, imagine accepting a label for a condition you never asked for in the first place. And whether that's a condition like mine or a situation or circumstance that most people face in their life, they usually don't ask for it, similar to the situation you were put in. The question is like, what are you going to do with that? And motivational hustle culture bro status today tells us hustle, kill, dominate, motivate. Man, that's not always how it goes. For me, my version of hustling and killing was shoving my hand in my pocket and keeping in my hand in my pocket for 17 years. 17 years, you know, like, what do you do when even going outside is the hardest thing you could possibly do in your life?
I had the faith and strength that I was going to make it, and there was a lot of kids that didn't. I still to this day say the hardest thing that I had to deal with cancer was losing my fighting buddies. One of my best friends in there, I think he was about a year and a half younger than me. His name was Frankie. I think the first time he was diagnosed was like 2, and he relapsed 7 times, and the 7th time took him. That was arguably one of the hardest things that I ever went through in my life, was losing him. And through the years, it got very hard to ask questions on how people were doing.
When you do this job, there are calls where do you do or do you don't? Do you, and back then it was, do you stage for the police to control the scene, or do you rush in, which we now call rescue task forces, which has happened after Columbine, because the teacher died and they're waiting for rescue. But we hadn't done this yet. We didn't train. We hadn't discussed it. So here we are, the 3 of us with minimal gear, hunkered down behind a car in the front yard of the school, and again, absolute utter chaos, live scene. And another guy, since I know it's Connecticut's not a big state. I know pretty much everybody, and these 2 guys I'm with know a lot of people. And a state police supervisor, sergeant, runs over to us with his gun drawn and says, "You 3, let's go. Follow me."
July 2nd this year, 2023. I got a phone call it was early in the morning. It was like 7:30, and my phone rang, and it said, on the caller ID, it said DC Metro Police. And I'm just thinking, like, I should probably answer this, but this can't be good. And it was an officer by the name of Detective Phillips, and he just said, hey, is this Matthew Butler? I said, yes. And he said, do you know a Nasserat? And I said, yes, I do. And he says, well, I regret to inform you that he was murdered this morning. And I could not, like, my brain could not process it. I was like just shaking my head and, fighting back the tears and just trying to understand what I was hearing. It took a while for it to settle in.